right. 5 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this morning. I listen to a podcast every once in a while, and it's out of New York, and the host is George Bodarky, by the way. Just thought I'd give him a little plug. And he was talking to these guys who make dolls in New York City. And it's a family business, and they've been doing it for generations. And one of the guys was saying that he went on his own, didn't think he wanted to be part of the family business, then he came back. And it's an interesting story, isn't it? WOCA, how many of you know this is a family business as well? Robin and I are the exception. Everybody else here is family.
Yes, they are.
We were adopted, I think, Robin.
That's right.
I think we were adopted into this family. Ramez Baassiri, I'm probably mispronouncing his name. He's on the phone. He has a book called Interrupted Entrepreneurship, Embracing Change in the Family Business. Oh my gosh, this is probably something all family businesses have to come to grips with. It says here that Mr. Baassiri is a firm believer in education through storytelling. Me too. He's a board member of a multinational, multi-generational family business and a best-selling author. Interrupted Entrepreneurship is the book we're talking about right now. Good morning, Ramez Baassiri, and please forgive my mispronunciation of your name.
Perfect. Ramez, thank you very much, Robin and Larry.
Good. Where are you calling from?
Today I'm in Dubai.
In Dubai?
Yes, and yesterday I was in Hong Kong.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, wow.
You're a man of the world. I love that.
Can I ask a question about Dubai? If I went there 20 years from today, like 20 years ago, would it have looked completely different? Isn't that a city that really went up overnight?
Yes, I mean, it's only 47 years old, the whole country, and since 2002, there's a huge construction boom.
Wow.
And the leadership here just kind of put its mind to be the number one in everything. I think, not in everything, but it's pretty good. It's nice to come and visit and check it out. It has like bits and bobs of everything from the U.S. in one place.
Yeah, it looks like a clean city too, right?
Yeah, it is very clean, yeah.
Wow. So tell me about the book, Interrupted Entrepreneurship.
So basically, a couple of years ago, I was sitting down thinking about all the interruptions that were taking place around me from the tech space and from even the global economy melting down in 2007. And I thought to myself, things aren't just turning around the way they should globally. And then, I think 3 or 4 years ago, my father passed away unexpectedly in the business. And I was confronted with all these questions I didn't have answers to. I didn't have anybody to go back to. And what about the interruptions that are going to come my way that I haven't really discussed with him? And I started researching the book, and I found sort of these images and threads between different families across continents and industries where they were doing things sort of similarly, and there were some answers to those questions, so I plugged it into the book.
Okay, and are you finding, has the book been out long enough that you're getting feedback from families who are experiencing something similar?
Yes, I have. I was surprised about a lot of the feedback that I was getting back from people, either because they were looking at diversity as a question. Another one about, I had a friend of mine in Dallas called me up and he said, you know what, I've been after my son to join the business. And after I read your book, which wasn't really my message in my book, he said, I decided to tell my son to go and work outside and do his thing. And if he chooses to come back, great and well. And his ex-wife called me up afterwards and she said, what's going on? I mean, did you just get my son cut out of the will? I said, I had nothing to do with it. I mean, the book is talking about joining the family business if you wish to, and your husband read one part of it. I said, let him read it again. I'm sure he will see the rest of it. And we had a chat.
But I wonder,
give it a few years.
That's interesting, because I wonder if maybe that's a necessary first thing. Like maybe the younger members of the family have to try to do it on their own first and then come back. That's what happened to this guy in New York with the doll factory, whatever they had there.
Mm-hmm.
I heard you say that.
Yeah.
I would say for me, I came into the business a year after graduating. My brother came in 8 years later, and my sister came in about 5 years after she graduated. Somehow, when they spoke, it was wisdom. When I spoke, I was the young kid in the room. So I definitely encourage people to work outside.
And I think it depends on the business. In our area, this was a really booming horse community, like during the decade of the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, and then when the grandparents who owned the horse farms passed away, the children took over the horse farms, and now when it reached the 2000s, the grandchildren didn't want to do the horse farms anymore, so they all sold the horses and put the properties up for sale because they had no interest in it.
Well put. I think one of the big things is that the next generation, in this case the third generation, didn't sort of feel that they had a voice or an interest. And today with millennials having all these options to do different things, they sort of like feel, well, am I really going to find it in the farm or the brick and mortar business? And it's about giving them the sense that, well, you know what, we could turn it around. There's one story in the book about this German company that they were all involved in the wool industry. And then it tanked. And so the family needed to sort of close down. And then the son came in and said, well, let's turn it into these specialized offices where we can rent them out. And only because he was heard was the business able to continue. If he wasn't, then the business would have ended and maybe they would have been left with real estate.
Interesting, yeah. There seems to be some wisdom in the idea that when a younger person comes into an established company, that we should listen to the new ideas that the young person brings, because he might or she might have a way of seeing what we're trying to accomplish, the same goal, but a different way to accomplish it. Obviously, technology has changed things. And I'm guessing that same thing is true if it's a family member who's also on the younger end.
You know, you're channeling my dad. When he was around, he would say, you know, mentorship is a two-way streak. The older should teach the young, but the young can teach the old. And today, as you mentioned, with technology moving so exponentially, really, I went a couple of years ago to a place called Singularity University to learn some, because I was the old guy in the room, and I've only been working for 25 years. So I need to sort of like keep yourself educated, refresh yourself. And there's sort of like a bunch of reasons why sometimes those next generation people don't want to join. Lack of a solid game plan, a lack of agility, sometimes lack of a succession plan that's clear, lets them feel like, you know what, how am I going to be able to continue on? But if they feel there's a voice for them to be heard, many times they'll give it a chance.
And that's especially true because males and females, it used to be the father would hand down the business to the sons, but sometimes the daughters are more enthusiastic about the business than the sons are and better for it.
You know what? I have 3 daughters. I have 2 sisters. My brother has 1 daughter. So when I look around, I'm surrounded by strong, capable women, and I feel like the patriarchal sort of structure around us, and it's all around the world. I was in Hong Kong yesterday, sitting down in a group of people, and there was 3 ladies out of 100. And so there's something about the fact that it's the opportunity being given because the capabilities are equal and the same. I think parents want to pass it on to the next generation, and sometimes there's a skewed inclination to say, well, let me go to the male versus the female. But I think diversity is very important, age-wise, culture-wise, and gender-wise. And when you do that, statistics show that the company performs better when you're actually giving the best person, not the best guy, not the best male, but the best person the chance to take over the business, be it a family member or non-family member.
And you also, and you're saying that you always have to keep the business fresh.
Yes, absolutely. If you don't really look at new horizons and expanding your market, it's going to die. Like you said, you talked about those farms that the farmers were working on it years ago. At one point, horse carriages were the in thing. Today, you talk about Hyperloop. So if you don't sit down and look at how you're out of touch.
Well, you have a lot of really great reviews on your Amazon listing, and the one that caught my eye, I just wanted to read the headline. It says, while on its surface, this book is about family business, its deeper meaning is about goals, about change, and that's absolutely smart. This reviewer gave you a really glowing review and some really nice things to say. How do we get I found that on Amazon, so that's one answer to my question. Do you have a website?
Yes, I do. I'm going to spell my name out because it's not easy. Ramez, BAASSIRI.com, and there's a blog on the website. Plus, there is a questionnaire assessment that you can take it and get a sense where you stand in your appetite for risk. And there's a bunch of also reviews, and it links you to a bunch of other social media where I have some articles being posted. So I hope you get a chance to have a look at it. It's quite interesting. There's also audio and ebook of it. So if you don't like to read the book and you're more of the millennial type, it can read it back to you on an audio.
I like that. Ramez Baassiri, thank you so much for being on the air with us today. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Robin and Larry. It was really a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
We'll be right back.
Friends, countrymen, tourists, and Ocalans, lend me your ears. Hey, speaking of ears, there is an opportunity for you to help feed and provide good maintenance, housing, and medical care for Marion County's rescued